Good morning. Let me take a look around here. And I am so pleased to be in front of, a very special group of people in the audience. And those are my doctoral students. I think that maybe 10% of the audience are people who have been in my classroom. Now, I know that this is a humbling experience to be in front of so many of the key leaders in the community college, state, or college sector. But for me, as a teacher, it is really a humbling and disarming experience to be in front of my students because they know me best and they can tell whether or not I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I know my material, I did my homework, or I did not. So please be gentle with me, not the leaders, but the students in the audience. Go ahead. And I'm here with Professor Tom Owens, that happens to be my husband. And we're colleagues at UCF. Now, this is the intro to my presentation. Hopefully, you all know this song because Tom told me it is critical for you to start your presentation with this song. So I don't see any,
They're not me.
Oh, that's true. Okay, when the first speaker, let's go to the second slide, Tom. When the first presenter was asking who is in the audience, I did not see the hands of faculty. At least I don't remember. Are there faculty in the audience? Adjuncts? You see? I usually don't make a big difference between faculty and adjuncts. There are teachers in the audience because some of my work is I have a very short agenda. Stay there, Tom. Don't do anything until I tell you. And I'm really going to cover 4 areas, and we're going to go quick. But one thing that I have to tell you is that as a teacher, I'm not going to wait for you to answer. I'm going to be intrusive in my teaching. You know, advisors know about intrusive advising. Don't we know that intrusive advising is what really pays off in terms of marching our students right where we want them to be? Well, I have generalized that concept to my teaching. So it means that in order for my presentation, this little time together, to be successful, you need to participate. So if your style as a student is that you are passive, you're not engaged, this is not going to be the classroom for you. Because I'm going to be looking precisely for those students that I think are in La La Land. Now, please, don't assume that because I called you, you are in La La Land. It could have been that you were like so passionate, your face showed me, and I'm going to call you. So there are some of you that are going to be in La La Land, and then there are others that are with me, but you will not be able to identify them, okay? So next slide. Tom, thank you. And these are the 2 caveats that I have. Never make predictions, especially about the future. But that's precisely what I'm going to do, because I am an agent of contradictions. Okay? And then the other one is that there is no point in making predictions. It's not worth speculating because nothing is set in good. And things change all the time. So knowing that, framing this conversation within those caveats, we're going to move ahead. And this is where you need to play with me. Okay? So everybody, put on your passionate, engaged face. Oh, let me say something. I wish in a way, and the presidents in the room will have to bear with a faculty member saying this, but I wish in a way that you will say these comments and predictions knowing that your president is here, but knowing that your president really wants to hear what you have to say, even if you are making predictions that are way ahead and that might be misunderstood. Okay? So I know that some of you are gauging the fact that their ears listening, but it is as if my chair was in the classroom and students like say things that I don't want my chair to hear, but well, he's there. And as a matter of fact, I have my associate dean here in the audience. I'm doing good, Dr. Hayes, I think, so far. So with that, this is where you need to play. What are your predictions about the future of higher education? And I want us to concentrate, if possible, to this sector. I did this presentation 2 weeks ago, and it was predictions having to do with the university. Now I want you to make predictions about this sector. Okay, here we go. I don't see hands, but I see people that I know. So help me out, because if not, it's going to be a fiasco. So I'm sorry, Sean, but you are the first one that I know. A prediction.
We will see an increase in the enrollment of minority students.
Is that good, bad, or ugly? That's good, the audience says. Huh? What do you think? You think so? Any minority member or particular minority members?
Definitely Hispanics. I think we'll.
Did you hear what he said? Definitely Hispanic, Black Americans, and international students. Yes, I agree, Sean. You know, I think that many universities and colleges are looking at the international students as what? As survival. Huh? Let's be candid. Survival. Because international students are going to need some special resources, don't they? At the same time that we are battling scarce resources. Another prediction around here, I don't know you.
Well, in Central Florida, that will have more students transferring into the university. That seems to be the trend. I think that'll just increase at the junior level.
So the transfer population will continue to increase. And we know a lot about transfer students, don't we? Well, at least for community college, state colleges, that's a big chunk of your population. And more research is needed in this area. I think that one of the key issues is going to be not only transferring, but what? Persisting and graduating. I think that that's the challenge, isn't it? Because the transfer function has been part of the community colleges since Cohen and Brower wrote their classic book, The Community College. But we are stuck in terms of how to persist and how to graduate. Another prediction.
I'm happy to satisfy you.
I would predict that we will see more programs being offered fully online.
The dominance of the online world. Very good. And one more prediction let me select. This table here is very special. I know a whole bunch of these people here, at least 50% of them. So, Alton, what is your prediction?
How did I know? Despite these increases in enrollment, I predict that our percentage of budget from state funding will continue to decrease.
Okay, so more students, less money. That sounds like my house. We have more need and less resources. Okay, now let me tell you, I was thinking about what could they predict? What could they predict? And I wrote it here. And I have to tell you that I had lack of resources as one of my predictions. That's very common. We all speak about that. Then one that you did not say that is very prevalent is the emphasis on assessment. It will not disappear. It will continue. The third one that I had, and no one mentioned, and I'm sure that the presidents are very familiar with this one, is what I call legislative intervention. And in the state of Florida, there is legislative intervention or interference, some people will say. And then the one that was just mentioned, online. The world of being online will continue to dictate how we do our teaching and our learning. Now, let me have another caveat for you. The comments that I'm making are not precisely about UCF, because I don't want to understand that what I'm saying has to do something with the fact that I'm employed at UCF. I'm talking about the UCFs of the world and the state and colleges of the world, okay? So let's see what is the next one. My predictions, Tom. Now, there are only two resources that I would like for you to entertain. The first one is called the Black Swan, the impact of the highly improbable. And I read this, and I really was stunned by the thesis of this book. And it is that organizations, governments, people must be prepared to deal with highly improbable events that, if they were to happen, will have incredible, terrific, catastrophic repercussions. And Katrina is the classic example. We predicted that it was never going to happen, and when it happened, it was a catastrophe. So for you, leaders, advisors, faculty, administrators, staff of our colleges, the best thing, the best resource that you can give to your supervisor is to be in tune with what is happening around me. What is it that the students are bringing that is highly improbable, but if this trend continues, is going to have terrible repercussions in the way that we do college. There is no use of having you in a college as a staff administrator, faculty, if you are not in tune with what is happening with the students. And if you cannot voice that to whoever is up there. So this is the first one. And then the other one is turnaround, leading stressed colleges and universities to excellence. What I like about this book is that it lists 20 indicators of stressed institutions. For example, if 20% of your budget is being used to deferred maintenance, if 18% is used for online courses, if 50% of your full-time faculty, this one I don't want to hear because it talks to me. If 50% of your faculty, full-time faculty, is over 58 years old. So please read this. Easy read and leaders in the area. So this is what we're going to do, and this is what we need to do. But for this, you can just hold 1 second, Tom. Now, Tom, let's move to the other slide. I have 8 predictions or ponderables. And I will show you these 8 predictions. And your job is to tell me when I call on you whether this is good, which means advances the best ideals about a college degree in a democratic society, because we are not any country. We are United States, and especially for your sector, you are in really enhancing the democratic values of who we are as citizens of this great nation. Or you can do bad, and it means that it retards the best ideals. Or ugly, it really violates what we stand for in this nation. So let's go to the next slide, Tom. Okay, so here we have the first one. That has to be the first one. Now, I don't know how to deal with my crystal ball and the mic, but I'm supposed to massage the crystal ball here. So what do you think about MOOCs? Bad, good, ugly? What about you?
I would say that, I mean, they could be good, they could be bad for perhaps like advising and.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. She's saying it can be bad, it can be good. Well, presidents don't want to hear good, bad, I don't know. I'm sorry. You're a supervisor. Now, I'm your president. I'm saying, no. Good or bad, because I need to make a decision.
I'm going to say good.
Good. Good for the community colleges? Good for the state colleges?
Probably just the state. I can't say it's good.
He cannot say it is good. Something for you to ponder. Now, I read about MOOCs in the community college, which for me was, oh, I didn't know that. But there are 2 community colleges, and maybe more now, in Massachusetts that are being supported by the gay foundations to integrate MOOCs into their course offering. But there is a catch. The students must be registered, and they are going to receive credit. Now, what does MOOC stand for?
Massive online course.
Massive online open courses. And I read an article that appeared in the Chronicle of Education that said that MOOCs are massively bad. Playing with the first word. Massively bad. Something for you to ponder, because it's going to be here. It says it. I can see it. MOOCs in the community college. Next one. Elimination of tenure versus increasing pay job security. I'm going to skip that one because there are not that many people in the audience that have really a special interest on that one. But let's look at the third one, widening the achievement gaps between students. Is that good, bad?
Ugly.
Why is that ugly? She said ugly. Why do you think it is ugly?
That goes against what we're looking for in the United States. Everybody having an equal opportunity and everybody being able to learn.
Okay, now you can have an easy opinion, good, bad, ugly. The thing is, if that's going to happen, according to the ball, what are you going to do about it? Because you are the frontline workers. You are going to be there dealing with this one. Now, I read what the report Reclaiming the American Dream. We are no longer doing access. You know, we have done access. I think that we have it pretty good. We understand access. What is it that we don't understand? And I think it hinges on this one, the achievement gaps. It's graduation. It's graduation. That's where we're stuck. And I will never be tired enough of saying this. It's graduation. And you know that now some systems are moving into, it's not graduation, it's what happens after graduation. Because what's the sense of getting a diploma and then you cannot do a thing with that paper? So what's the relationship between graduating and being able to work? That's what really changes the life of students. And as you know, Carabel, a critic of the community college for years, was saying the false promise of the community college, my dear colleagues, that we were providing the access, but students were not changing. They used to say their addresses. They were doing the same thing after getting that degree that they were doing before. Now, we are a leader, though, okay? So I need to preface that. I think that in our state, some of our sectors have that under control. There can be a demonstration of access, graduation, and jobs. But for most of us in higher education, no, we cannot do it. The growth of proprietary institutions. Let me look for someone that I know is dying to say something, and I haven't provided. Here you are. The growth of proprietary institutions, good, bad, or ugly? What is it?
It is bad.
Why? Because my ball doesn't have a voice, but you do. Why do you think it is bad?
Well, if they're getting the same quality education, then it's not ugly. But if they have the knowledge when they graduate and are ready for the job market, then it's just bad.
Proprietary institutions are not going to go away. They are becoming stronger and stronger, a big competitor. I remember being in higher education, and when Phoenix came, you know, I was in graduate school. Don't talk about that. They are going to disappear. And now they are a big, one of us, a big guy. Now, you know that they are now under, probation. Okay? From, I don't know if it is Saks or Middle, but North. But they are going through the same criteria of excellence that we are. So they're not going to disappear. They are going to be competing. And what? Many of our students, that's where they're going. How come they're not coming to you? How come they're not coming to you? What is it that this sector has to offer them that we cannot? That is what your president need to hear from you, because you have the students in front of you. Most of the time they don't. And students talk about this. They will always say, my friend so-and-so went to, she's not here. They know a lot of people. Why are they doing that? Now, it cannot be money because it is more expensive. Now, the other day in the Chronicle of Education, I read something very important that UF is doing, and it is that they're changing their scheduling. And some students that were not up to the standards for entering in the fall, you know when they will have to come in? In the spring. A whole bunch of them. And then I read that one thing that the proprietary sector does, and does it so well, is that they arrange their courses in blocks. In blocks. And we don't have blocks. That's like a novel idea for us. The registrar will have a heart attack if we mention, let's have blocks. A block, all the students that are coming are going to be, for example, in the block 7 to 11. And that's all the classes that they're going to take. And then there is another block from 11 to 3 or 7 to 9. Why would this work with our students? Because if they're working, if they have children, you know, they cannot come to campus at, let's say, 11, and then 3, and then 5. Maybe it will work better if we had blocks for them and they do it back to back, boom, boom, boom. And then they go home or they go to work. But that will require so much. Proprietary institutions are doing it, but gee, what is it that you're going to do with faculty? And again, the registrar's office. Something for you to think about. Proprietary institutions are not leading, according to my ball. Okay, next. Now, this one, and I'm going to close with this one, because Tom says that I only have 2 more minutes, and that's it. But you can see the other 3 that I had here for you. Remember, these are ponderables. I don't have answers. But look at that one. Increased use of academic advising software or web-based system. What do you think of that? Good, bad, ugly? Let me move here to this very last table.
I would say it's bad because you lose the human perspective and the insight that comes with talking face to face and having a personalized interaction.
Bad because you lose the personal interaction. Now, we heard that argument before. That was the same argument that we gave when we started seeing those things called online courses. As a matter of fact, it is the same argument that we hear today. It's not the same because I'm not there. Now, I would like to think that I'm a pretty good teacher. But I have heard from some students that they are very satisfied with some of their online courses because the people teaching those are masters at engagement. Now, the other day I was thinking, is there something here that we can learn from the armed forces? Like, some of those soldiers are away for so many years, but they continue to be engaged with what is happening back home. Now, I know that there are many controversial issues right now when we speak about veterans, but couldn't that be like an argument if some people, some organizations know about how to keep engagement through the distance? Why haven't we mastered that? Because I think that this is an option. I'm not saying, my crystal ball is not saying that we're going to do all advising online or using web-based services, but it might ease the load. You cannot be an effective counselor if you have 500 or more students. I'm sorry. And you know, the only reason why you can be effective as an advisor is if you are defining advising as scheduling. And advising has a little bit of scheduling. But the most important part of advising is what? Guide. Is to guide the person in front of you into the path that he or she seems to want to pursue but is uncertain. And you are the professional. You profess to know your campus. You profess to know that major. And if you cannot profess, then you are not a professional. Then you should stand up and give that position to another one who can profess to know. Because for me, and I used to be an academic counselor a long time ago, although I hope that my students see me in that light from time to time, you are key. You know, like secretaries can make you or break you, advisors can make you or break you. And we have moved from scheduling, we have moved away from prescriptive advising to now the new thing is appreciative advising. Appreciative advising. So my prediction is that more and more we will have to integrate web-based systems into our advising with the support, with the leadership of people, but that it will become one of the most important columns in our drive and quest for graduation and job placement. I do want to thank you, Dr. Bradford, for inviting me. This is just the beginning of a conversation. I hope that you will continue listening to what your students are saying, being able to tell your supervisor, I think this can be a swan event. Improbable. But if it happens, it's going to be catastrophic. And the ones of you who are advisor, you are key. A good advisor many times, and I will say this, is better than your best faculty. Because you know, people have the books. They can read. If I do a good syllabus, that's a good roadmap. But you can answer the big questions, questions of purpose, questions about future. So, my dear colleagues, go ahead, get yourself a crystal ball, put it on your desk, get some of my props, and play with these ideas. Stay vibrant in our field. There is nothing more noble than working in higher education. And I wish you luck and many, many years as colleagues. Thank you.
Such a good job. Whoa. Mike, you ready?